That performance last weekend, result aside, that must be really pleasing for you, given going up toe to toe against a team like Celtic with the budget they have and the calibre of player they have.
Yeah, and it's not surprising that we've played really well in the last 4 or 5 games. Bar 30 minutes, the last 30 minutes against Hibs. We've competed and we've done well without getting the points that perhaps our performances deserved. So I'd take a poor performance on Saturday and 3 points, to be honest. But we know that we're not searching for answers. We know we have to be clinical. We know we're not being clinical at the moment. A good example of that is the semi-final. We had 8 shots and scored 4 goals, which is an incredible return rate. And we've not done that often enough throughout the team, from set plays, from everybody, including the strikers, but obviously the rest of the team as well. So that's something we're very much working on, trying to get better. And we keep the level of performance. So what it does mean is the boys haven't lost any kind of confidence. We're still playing with confidence. And as I say, we do believe that will turn if we keep doing that.
What is the kind of key, I know it's a hard question to answer, but to turn those chances into goals? How do you ensure that your strikers take those opportunities when they come along?
Yeah, not just strikers. I hasten to add that it's everybody. Set plays, it's wing backs, it's midfielders. You need goals in the team from everybody, and that eventually takes the pressure off strikers. Of course, that's what we want the strikers to do: is score goals. They contribute so much to the team. The boys up top, they work with socks off. They give us a platform. We work on it every day. We don't have a magic wand where we can go and buy goals. We can't go and do that in the transfer market. So we have to keep working on it. We have to try and find ways and encouraging, creating situations in training, which we do every day. And eventually that'll turn, which is we've done that in the past. And as I say, we feel the work that we're doing will bear fruition sooner rather than later.
And you play against a Dundee team tomorrow that, rightly or wrongly, have a manager under a bit of pressure at the moment. Is that something that St Mirren can play on and use to your advantage?
No, I think every manager's under pressure all the time. Stephen's been in the game a long time. He knows the parameters we all have to work under. I think he's a really good guy and a very good coach as well. So I seen him last week against Hibs. They've got some good players. Sometimes your league position doesn't reflect some of your performances, and I think Stephen will feel that. So we know it's a tough game, always a tough place to go to. Hopefully they bring a big travelling support with us and they can cheer us on. But we're in for a tough game. We make no mistake, every single game in this league is a hard game.
I know you've been asked a lot about VAR and talked a lot about VAR recently. I guess for you, do you see a time and a place where VAR in Scottish football can be better, and do you have the confidence that it will get there?
I don't know. I've given my opinion on VAR. I don't think I should give any more of an opinion on it. The idea of that is not to put referees under any more pressure. They're human. They're doing everything in their power to get the decisions right. We just want the technology to help them more. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think the less we say about it at this moment in time, the better. And we concentrate on ourselves. I've made my feelings clear on the system, and I think it's important that we just concentrate on controlling what we can control.
And last one from me, how is your team news for tomorrow, and how is Mark O'Hara?
Mark won't be available. He's not responded well at all to... We've had 2 injections now, 2 different injections, so he's not responded well. We're trying another route on Monday, so it's a disappointment for us because we expected him to be back by now. Ryan Mullen won't be available due to some family circumstances, but also he's still not recovered from a thigh injury. He may train today, but without doing full kicking. But we won't have him available for tomorrow either.
Well, what is it with Mark that he's getting injected?
Mark's his foot.
Just his foot?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of what you said about Dundee there, teams can be in almost like false league positions. Do you feel that you're in a false league position at the moment? Because I was saying to Shamal that the general perception from the outside is you're having a good season. We're in a cup final. It seems to be when you're on TV you always play well, even if you concede a 95th minute goal. Do you feel that you're in a false league position with 9th at the moment?
We're in a false league position in terms of our performances. We're not in a false league position in terms of results. Our results have given us that amount of points, so you are where you are. I do believe that we can climb the table. I do believe we will climb the table. It's Scottish football changes every 3 weeks. Somebody else is under pressure. But what we do is we keep trying to remain calm with things. We don't get too up and down in terms of when we win. When we get to cup finals, we try to stay grounded. And it's the same when you're not winning games, but a lot of things are right. Ultimately, what happens in both boxes decides what wins football matches. You know, all the rest of it in between matters to an extent, but it certainly doesn't affect the end product. So we haven't been clinical enough, and we've conceded late goals. You know, been our problem, conceding late goals. The one we conceded against Celtic is very little you can do about that. Sometimes that's just a massive amount of quality that Callum produced. But as I say, yeah, a false position in terms of our performances, but not in terms of results. So that we have to remember, our ultimate goal is to stay in this division. You know, obviously with the relative success we've had in terms of the league positions over the last 3 years, people, sometimes expectations rise with no real reason behind it other than the performances from the team. You know, and ultimately we have to stay in this division. If we do that, then we look to build, and that hasn't changed and won't change from my aspect.
You talk about remaining calm. I take it from your perspective, there's no looking at the table and thinking, oh, if Dundee beat us, then suddenly we could be in 11th, despite the good performances we've been putting in the season. Do you even entertain that as a manager, or are you constantly looking, right, if we win, we're here, we're looking up like that?
Yeah, I tend not to look at too much of it either way. You know, you can only control what you do, you can't control other results. And as I say, we're doing everything in our power in the training pitch to control the outcome. Sometimes it goes your way. We've had a really bad run of luck. If you want to speak, 4 goals disallowed, 3 of which potentially, could be wrong. And you have these periods. We had a similar period this time last year. We managed to finish in the top 6. So as I say, nobody's getting too worried about it. If you look at Hibs last year, bottom of the table, they finished 3rd, didn't they, if I'm right in saying? So certainly we try and stay focused and calm and not get too far ahead of ourselves, or start looking behind you and start worrying what's in front of you. You can only affect what's in front of you, not what's happened previously, and that's the way we approach games.
Just finally, in terms of facing Dundee, I think they're the last team you beat in the league. Does that give you and the boys extra confidence that you can go out? This is a team you can go out and beat, and that you've got the confidence to go.
I don't think particularly Dundee. No, I don't think particularly one team. I believe the players and myself and the staff believe we can beat anybody on our day. We've shown we're very, very competitive against people. Motherwell are doing very well at the moment. We've gone and won very comfortably against. Scoreline suggests comfortably. It wasn't that comfortable. So we believe on our day we can beat anybody. And we just have to turn, as I say, them performances now into results.